All right, Shalom. All praises goes to Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, Bashim Kakwadash. Double honors goes to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone from whom I learned the truth. And much love and peace and blessings goes out to all you hopeful elect brothers that are teaching the word of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai in truth and in sincerity. So basically, it's going to be a lesson. I'm going to title this, America has descended into chaos, because the situations that are springing up all across America is deplorable. Like, you got these Black Lives Matter protests, and mainly, you know who's fighting? It's Esau versus Esau. It's Edomite versus Edomite, because you got Edomites on one side, which represent the left. In other words, you know, the Democratic Party and liberalism, right? And they're backing these Black Lives Matter protests. And then on the other hand, you got conservative Republican Trump supporters. And they're pretty much duking it out and fighting and shooting each other. You know, people are out here killing each other. And like in a recent video I did concerning the Kenosha protests or riots, whatever you want to call them, that happened out there, a couple of Edomites got put to death by another Edomite, right wing versus left wing. And this is just, you know, when you look at the overview, it's Yahweh Bashim Yahushai dismantling Esau's kingdom, because, you know, as Yahweh Shai said, when kingdoms are divided, they come to naught. So this is Yahweh Bashim Yahushai bringing the division. So this is Matthew 12 and 25. And Yahweh Shai knew their thoughts and said unto them, every kingdom divided against itself is brought into desolation, and every city or house divided against itself shall not stand. Okay, so America will not stand because of the amount of division that's going on here. The only way that a kingdom is strong in its survives is through unity, through you know some type of central authority. Then you got, you know, resources flowing through the land, and there's peace. But that's the opposite of what's going on in America, man. Just like examples from other kingdoms before America, like ancient Israel. Israel went down and was weakened, right, for several centuries, right, after the northern and southern kingdoms split. Because what happened, eventually the northern kingdom went into captivity, and then the southern kingdom went into captivity, and they were destroyed. Okay. Of course, the people survived on, because the people today are you blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. But that authority and that rulership that we had in ancient times was decimated because of that division. You know, that's one of the heavy reasons. So likewise, America is being divided because it's a wicked and sinful kingdom. You know, just like in, I'll mention ancient Israel again. It started off with our sins, and because of our sins, the Lord brought division. You see what I mean? So likewise, it's happening in America, because America, oppressed the Israelites, did all types of things. So I want to play a few videos too for you brothers to see the amount of chaos that's going on right now. This is in Ontario. This is in Canada. But, you know, the same type of actions are being had here in America. So here you have it. Jesus Christ, you gonna put a CPL on money? So you see that Edomite with the cigarette came through whacking motherfuckers with the frying pan, man. Fucking people up. And then you got worse situations happening. Hold on, you got this other shit right here. Look at this. So these are protesters out there. I think this is in Oregon, or Portland, Oregon. Basically rioting, fighting against one another. And like you see, it's mostly Edomites. And a lot of these situations are contrived. It's the left and the right is both controlled by the elite, because the elite are, tanking their system on purpose in order to bring evolution. It's a synthesis of opposing sides coming together or clashing to bring about change in their minds, right? Because they want to flip society on its head in order to bring in their new system, which is the RFID microchip, a new money system, a new form of government, which is all nations combined together. But we know in an overt sense, this is the counsel of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. He has fooled Esau in his counsel through the demons that Esau worships to bring this division. And the division isn't going to bring Esau's new world order. In his mind, it is, but Yahweh Bashim Yahushai will eventually destroy this place. Because this is all, like it said, every kingdom divided against itself shall not stand. So Esau is a fool to think that his division, him bringing division in his own kingdom, will bring him a prolonged rulership. He's a fool. He's an idiot. All right. So this is an article of what happened, because you had this pro-Trump caravan riding through LA, and they got fired on. Presumably Edomite came through and shot up their caravan. It says reports of shots fired at pro-Trump caravan in LA suburb, suspect on the run after standoff with the police. Police have reported to reports of fire being opened at a pro-Trump parade of cars in Woodland Hills, California, after a tire was slashed by a projectile, probably a bullet. The alleged shooter is at large. The incident unfolded at about 11:30 a.m. local time on the 2600 block of Ventura Boulevard. As the torrent of cars with Trump supporters was streaming past Woodland Hills, a neighborhood in San Fernando Valley region of Los Angeles, California. LAPD said that a woman who was not part of the pro-Trump caravan but was driving alongside the rally reported that her tire was damaged after she heard sounds resembling that of gunfire. So you got the point of division where, the Republican Party can't stand the Democrats to the point where they're shooting at each other, killing each other, because Trump is supposed to represent a Republican Party, a party that's quote unquote duly elected and so on and so forth. But the type of spirit that, in the type of vibe that Donald Trump brings is total hate and discord for the other side of politics. In some way or fashion, leaders in the past like Obama or even George Bush have been able to keep that civility between the parties. But now your boy Donald Trump is bringing that division, man. And it's all according to the will of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Because you read in the scriptures, I believe it's in Proverbs, it says the heart of the king is in the hand of the Lord. He turns it whithersoever way he will. So the fact that you have such a divisive and, what's the word I'm looking for? A polarizing president that rules over this country as of right now is because Yahweh Shem Yahushai set it up to be so. Okay, so let's go to a couple scriptures and I'm going to close out. So this says, the book of Haggai 2:22. It says, and I will overthrow the throne of kingdoms. And this is Yahweh Shem Yahushai working. He's working to overthrow the throne of kingdoms, meaning the rulership and the governments of the other nations. It says, and I will destroy the strength of the kingdoms of the heathen. And what's the strength of the kingdoms of the heathen? That's America. Because of all heathen nations, you got nations like China, Russia, you got the NATO nations, you got Hamite nations, but the strength of all the heathen nations is what? America. And their strength of all these kingdoms lies in their military and their governments. And Yahweh Shem Yahushai is going to dismantle both of them. It says, and I will overthrow the chariots and those that ride in them. So their militaries will be destroyed in World War III. It says, and the horses and their riders shall come down, everyone by the sword of his brother. You see? So what? Divisiveness, division. Just like in America, that people are being slain by the swords of their brothers. Edomites shooting each other. That's what's happening. And these are signs that let us know on what's going on. So we're going to read the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 9, starting at verse 1, because this is very relevant to what we're living in. Because you got to understand, the Bible is all about prophecy. The Bible is all about speaking things into existence. Because these words which we read, these were written thousands of years ago. Literally thousands of years ago, these things were written, but they're manifesting now. And sure, you can say that things like earthquakes, protests, wars, violence have always happened. But what about all the prophecies manifesting in this very time, such as things spoke of Israel going to captivity, Israel losing their heritage and gaining it back. All right, the coming of the Messiah, which he was already crucified and is prophesied of his return. The Third World War. Okay, there was never a time when you had all nations actually come together and fight each other, just like World War I, World War II, which is prophesied in the Bible, along with the coming World War III. So this is all things which have been spoken and prophesied by the Most High, because that's how he shows his power. That's how he shows that he's real, because, like chariots manifesting. Yahweh Bashem Yahushua isn't going to come down to earth himself, but he has left somewhat, if you could say, hints and clues to his existence so that the faithful may see and wake up. And he's blinded the rest of the world to see it, because he hasn't really made his presence obvious to most people, because you know what? Most people on this earth, and especially of the house of Israel, are going to be destroyed. He does not want his people, all of his people, to wake up. Because most of the people of Israel are wicked. They like to partake in things which Yahweh Shemel Shai has decreed, which he has outlawed, man. A lot of niggas are thieves and robbers, murderers, homosexuals. So they're going to be destroyed. It says, 2nd Ezra 9:1, he answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself. And how do you measure the time? It's through observance, through observing what's going on in the earth and then relating it to the words of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Because the scriptures is our measuring tool. In other words, like if you want to understand the height or the length or the width of something, what do you use? You use a ruler. You use a measuring tape. So the scriptures is what we use to measure the times, because you have to compare the events of what's happening to what is written in the scriptures, because the scriptures tell you of everything. It says, and when thou seest part of the signs past, which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. So this is how we know Yahweh Bashem Yahushua is visiting the earth, because of the things which is written. Otherwise, we will be lost. We'll be lost in the sauce if we didn't have these prophecies. But Yahweh Bashem Yahushua was merciful enough to his remnant to give us this understanding through his word. And that's why, the script, look, you've had plenty, hundreds to millions of ancient manuscripts which men have wrote that's burnt off, has gone with the wind to never be read again. But the very reason why Yahweh Bashem Yahushai has given us this truth and had this ancient book and the collection of books exists to this day is so the elect can read it and the elect can wake up. This is mercy. It says, therefore when there shall be seen earthquakes and upwars of the people in the world. So that's what's happening. This is the very same thing which we see, upwars of the people, the George Floyd protests. You see what I mean? Earthquakes. All you got to do is Google earthquakes. I bet you'll see one happen within the last 24 hours, a week ago, a week before that. Every week earthquakes are happening. It says, then shall thou understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. For like as all that is made in the world hath a beginning and an end, and the end is manifest. So the end is manifest. The end is here, because this is the time of the end of the heathen. You got to understand that this isn't the end of the whole world. This isn't a time where everybody on earth is going to die. No, this is the end of Israel's captivity. You know? And the end of the rulership of the heathen. Even so, the times also of the highest have plain beginnings in wonder and powerful works, and endings in effects and signs. You see? So the signs is, like I mentioned, the chariots, the division amongst the heathen nations, brother against brother, Edomite versus Edomite, Jacob versus Esau happening, Jacob versus Edomite clashings. You know, the prophets waking up, that's a sign. The prophets being out there preaching, because this type of thing didn't exist in 1800s America and 1700s America. This is a new thing, so to speak, you know, and the fact that it didn't happen in America, because the prophets have always come at different times, but this is just the time for it to happen right now. So let's see if I got any other scriptures. Got one more scripture I'm gonna bring out for brothers. Habakkuk chapter 2 verse 1. I will stand upon my watch. And this is what we're called to do. We're called to watch for the prophecies. Get on the internet, look at what's happening, and feed the flock. That's exactly what we're supposed to do as men of the Lord. So it's even imminent. It's a word I'm thinking of all the time, but I get it wrong. That's why it's important for even the listeners to watch as well. You got to watch your teachers and watch what's going on in the earth. It says, and set upon the tower and will watch to see what he will say unto me. And what is that tower? The tower is the name of the Lord. Coming in the name of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. As long as you pray upon that name and have faith, you're in that tower. And Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai gives you the spirit to watch. And he feeds you with the understanding of his word. It says, and will watch to see what he will say unto me, and what I shall answer when I am reproved. And the Lord answered me and said, write the vision and make it plain upon tables, that he may run that readeth it. And that's what the ancient prophets did. The ancient prophets wrote these prophecies down, and then for it to be read in this time, it says, and the Lord answered me and said, right, Salaki, I read that already. For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and will not lie. See, the end. The scriptures always talk about the end. Better is the end of a thing than the beginning thereof. The end is something that is embedded in the hearts of the elect, because you know what comes with the end? The reward, the kingdom of Israel. The end of this earth, the beginning, or the end of this kingdom, I should say, and the beginning of the kingdom of Israel, because it's a rulership forevermore, for eternity. Okay? And not lie, though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come, it will not tarry. So these prophecies are not tearing, they're kicking off as we speak, man. This devil wants to really come with an RFID chip to microchip people. He has Neuralink, which is going to basically symbiotically hook you up to computer systems and have you basically be a transhuman. You transcended humanity to become a bug out, you know, to become a half man, half machine, you know, hater of the Most High, because, you know, so this is the times we live in, this is the times of the end, and we're to endure and keep watching for these prophecies. All right, so shalom.